Now, I've sworn to be nothing but absolutely transparent with y'all about everything. I promised myself before ever turning on this camera to say, if you're ever going to create content, you must tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, even if that means that the people on the other side, they may throw stones. And so I'm perfectly fine with that. And this is not an easy video to make, specifically because this is an individual that she was a prominent figure during my awakening process, I guess, my coming to consciousness. And for years, she was a voice of influence when it came to understanding what I was in as far as the Democratic plantation and that ideology that I had, been indoctrinated into, breaking free from that, and then figuring out who I truly was, the values that I truly held, etc., and realizing, oh, these match up with these conservative values. And so to put Candace Owens on the witness stand today is not an easy one, but everybody can get it, including me. So if there's ever scandals about me, if there's ever any inconsistencies about me, you can gladly put those out. I'm like B-Rabbit off of 8 Mile. I'm going to tell them before you can tell me. I'm going to snitch on my damn self before anything. So yeah, I want to get into this video, which I actually got an opportunity to watch most of earlier today. And I thought, damn, I got to get into it because I've been feeling funny about sis. I've been seeing a lot of strange type of messages from her as of late. Maybe because I haven't been watching her for like the last year or so. I haven't been really tapped in, but maybe because the contents, the nature of the content has changed, etc. So I'm in a space right now where, again, I know I should never have any idols, right? And I do my best not to pedestalize people, but sometimes, you have admiration and then you are disappointed. And so this just happens to be one of those situations where I was seeing seeing inconsistencies, seeing hypocrisy, and then, it's all come full circle. So let's get into this video. Shout out to the man who created this. Is it What a You Meme? That's funny. That's good. What a You Meme? Dude has super dope content. So I highly recommend watching the entire video by itself below. I'm probably going to get through like 50% of this because, again, I'm going to be giving my 2 cents as we move forward. But let's get into it.
In 2021, Candace Owens was celebrated by Christians for boldly standing up against secular ideologies and defending what many saw as core Christian values. But her recent loyalty to figures like Andrew Tate, Kanye West, and her involvement in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories have left many Christians feeling uneasy, even betrayed. The very loyalty that once made her a conservative champion might now be leading her and those who look up to her down a dangerous path. We'll explore how her loyalty has led to her apparent anti-Semitism. But first, if you need evidence for just how bad things have gotten, take a look at this tweet. Just a few months ago, Candace tweeted, "Ban pornography. It's a psychological weapon intended to weaken our men." She followed up by saying that it was created by the most deprived people among us and that we should stigmatize every person who defends or profits from it. Now, most Christians supported this sentiment, believing that she was...
And I want to let y'all know that I stand behind that statement as well. Period. Again, I'm going to make everything known on my side. What do I stand for? And so if you see inconsistencies in my life, you see me associating with individuals who are, unsavory characters, then please call me out. Please check me on that. Unfortunately, it seems like nobody can check sis over here. She is in her bull-headed Taurus nature. She is given over to her stubbornness and yeah, I'll just let y'all see it for yourself.
She was standing for Christian values that promote family and well-being. She even tweeted that the men who struggle with pornography are the intended victims, but this is where things get complicated. You see, her stance made it all the more confusing when she defended and protected someone like Andrew Tate, who, right before his arrest, was bragging about exploiting men with corn, saying,
"Chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in, and me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. We were taking their money, all of it. I had these guys selling their houses, life savings, loans, all of it to me. Give me it all. You'd have a guy.
Feel bad or no?
No, give a solitary f.
So it's ironic that she condemned corn as a weapon to weaken others, yet Tate bragged about doing exactly that just months before his arrest. She said that those who profit off of it should be stigmatized, yet right before the pandemic, Tate tweeted, "I make corn. I made so much corn that I made millions. You consume corn. I am God. You are an effing loser. But we knew that already. Learn how to make money by making corn here. But she never stigmatized Tate for it. And all of this is weird because even in her most recent interview of Tate, she talked to him about how bad she thinks that corn is. But
I'll be honest with y'all, it wasn't even like these serious, not allegations, because these are realities. This is what's actually going on. This, as you can see, the proof is in the pudding. But what got me down the rabbit hole is when she's just been going in on X. Like, she has been offended off of like Babylon B. They put up some joke where, what they say? They said, Candace Owens realizes for the first time that Jesus was Jewish. And the Babylon Bee is a satire channel. They are hilarious, mind you. It's a satirical channel. And sis was just so offended by this. She's been going on for like maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks at this point. It's almost been a month since they dropped that joke. And she's still referencing it. And, oh, they must be controlled by the Talmud. And they must be part of the Zionists. I'm like, oh, sis, chill. It's a joke. But then I really started looking at everything around it. And I was like, oh, no, we need to, I don't want you to be a narcissist. I know Tate is. I know he's an overt narcissist. It's written all over him. He does not give a damn. He has no consistency. He has no moral compass. Y'all who love him, y'all can get lost for real. Like, I'm not that. I'm gonna just let you know right now. I am disinterested in supporting a caricature like that. He does not stand on masculine values. These are quasi, these are fake. He does not have integrity. His word is not bond. He is not a man who is for family. He is not a man who is truly for God. He is the God of self, right? And not in some like truly spiritual sense. No, he's just like, I'm better than you. I am more than you, period. You are nothing to me. He says it in all of his messages and you know it. And if you're buying into it, then you are severely mentally compromised at best.
But this is the same guy who only a few years ago bragged about getting men addicted to corn in order to control them, tweeting, "I super hope the corn addiction gets out of control and ruins everyone's lives. I hope everyone suffers and I don't want to help anyone break free at all. Keep watching cam girls. I want more money." And if you're doubting that this was his Twitter account, he confirmed it in multiple other clips online as well. So now keep in mind that this is the same guy who recorded himself during the COVID lockdowns saying that he was still running a webcam business. And despite this, Candace still claims that his webcamming business was over 10 years ago.
What he said 10 years ago.
So this video is from 10 years ago.
Looking back 10 years.
When you talk about Candace from 10 years ago.
Fortunately, I had no cameras in my face 10 years ago.
The idea that you did something 10 years ago.
Okay, this is 10 years ago.
Talk about these things from 10 years ago.
Again, if you found Candace 10 years ago.
Which contradicts the facts, Tate's own recorded testimony, and his countless tweets. And still to this day, she continues campaigning for Tate, spreading all kinds of falsehoods for him. But all of this has left Christians confused. I mean, on the one hand, she talks about her strong conviction against corn, while on the other, she continues to platform and defend Tate despite his entire empire being built on corn. Well, the only way that this would make sense is if Candace didn't know Tate or about Tate prior to his arrest. So, is that what happened? Well, we may
imagine somebody listening to this, like from another room or something. You're playing out loud, and all they hear is about corn. They're like, "What in the corn is going on in there? What kind of corny video are you watching in there?" Corn, man. YouTube, just let it be free reign with these words. Stop demonetizing words that literally represent something that people are doing openly on your own platform. Chill or be chilled. We still got the corn. It's ridiculous. It might be worse to say corn than the actual word. This sounds crazy.
I've gotten a little more insight into that question during a recent live stream Candace did a few days ago, but not based on what she said, instead based on what was behind her. If you've watched any of her streams from her home office, you may have noticed something interesting. If you zoom in right here, you can see a picture of her husband, George Farmer, from what appears to be several years ago. And if you look to the side of him, he's sitting next to none other than Andrew Tate. Now, we knew that Tate and Candace had met before, but what we didn't know was how deep it really went. According to her husband, he's known Tate for a very long time.
I've known Andrew since before Andrew was Andrew. You know what I mean? I've known Andrew since before he was famous, I guess. Andrew is a great guy.
But what most people didn't know.
So he knew Andrew when he was at the peak of his OF corn journey. If you can connect all those dots right there, all that innuendo for you. He was basically parading this guy as a really good guy at that time. Okay, yeah. There is truth in a statement that you are the people you surround yourself with. I know we like to deny it, but there's aspects of that attract you in some way. So my girl was right, because she was telling me she had seen, interview between husband and wife, and she said, oh, okay, there's some real sus going on over here, and now I see what she was talking about. You're on point, babe. You were right.
Was that Candace also met Tate several years ago, which could explain why, in her past episodes talking about Tate's charges, Candace didn't distance herself from Tate, but instead went to extreme lengths to protect him, even using an episode to discredit an alleged victim who accused Tate of abuse. And this is where things started looking really suspect. Given that Tate's abuser also accused another man when she was 15 years old, and that man was sentenced to 24 years in prison because of it. Because of this, Candace made an episode trying to discredit this girl's credibility. In the episode, she even went so far as to refuse to say the name of the convicted felon in order to protect his identity, while repeatedly mentioning the underage girl's name in the episode without censoring it.
The first case involves a man who I am not going to name, and the only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him, Emma was in fact a minor. By the way, you're going to hear some beeps when I'm discussing this case. If I accidentally say his name, we intend to just beep it out.
It was almost as if Candace was willing to ignore or excuse the very values that she claims to stand for, all because of her personal loyalty to Andrew Tate. Another thing that Tate said in that tweet was that he was God, which is another thing that Candace claims to hate. She claims to hate blasphemy, and Christians have applauded her for defending Christian values by taking a stance against it. Earlier this year, she even posted a video condemning the rapper Lil Nas X for
that is mocking Jesus Christ, and it's obviously meant to be blasphemous.
But not even a month later, she endorsed Kanye's Vultures album, where Kanye says, "I'm the new Jesus," explicit. And this wasn't just art either. Following the release of his album, Kanye said multiple times that he's God. So if Candace was outraged by Lil Nas X for dressing up on a cross and she considered it to be blasphemy, then this old picture of Kanye and him saying that he's the new Jesus should also be considered blasphemy. And just to be clear, given that she's friends with Kanye, I don't expect her to personally attack him, but there's also no need to go out of the way to promote this album if blasphemy really does bother her so much. And those aren't the only Christian values that Candace seems to turn a blind eye to. Candace has condemned and shamed countless women for being immodest, including Kim Kardashian and Madonna, by saying that they're basically punning corn on the internet for being nearly naked. But that same album she promoted in multiple tweets also features Kanye's naked wife on the cover. And as Candace herself said,
there needs to either be a real standard, right? Or there should be no double standards. We just need to have a real standard to not allow pornography on the internet.
She's also made several podcasts attacking rappers for having degenerate lyrics, but literally every single thing that she scolds and shames other rappers for promoting in their lyrics is also being promoted in Kanye's Vultures album. And rather than being infuriated with it, she praises it. Once again, her values seem to be compromised by
I'll be honest, y'all. I despise hypocrisy probably more than anything else. Again, I've been wrong on a lot of things. I used to make a lot of quote unquote spiritual content, a lot of woo-woo spiritual content, and the things that I believe that I'm now realizing I was wrong on, and I don't know as much as I thought I knew about, spiritual matters. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have all the answers anymore in that respect. I do know that we have control of our decision making, and we go through life and we, either choose to engage in activities that are going to add to our lives or take away, right? And that will always be my message, and that will forever stand as truth. However, hypocrisy is something that I do despise because, again, it's like if you're somebody who has a completely different moral compass than I do, but you stand on 10 on that, I have respect for you. I might not like it, I might not be with it, for it, but I respect you. I just cannot respect an individual who is playing two cards at the same time or two decks of cards at the same time. It's like, not letting the right hand know what the left one does. I'm not with that at all. This is breaking my heart. I'm going to play this out a little more and then, we can wrap up. So again, this hasn't been an easy thing like any of these individuals, because there's few individuals who I look at, I'm like, I actually respect you. And like, I see what you stand on, and, in real life, as well as, I guess all of it is real life because I don't know her personally. But when I see what I need to see, and I'm like, this person seems solid, then I'm like, okay, I'm willing to actually allow you to speak into my life until I'm not. And that happens very frequently. It's happened quite frequently. And so now I distance myself and I say, okay, you got to listen to your spirit before anything else, period. And then if things resonate with that, then, so be it.
Selective loyalty. But Candace's loyalty to individuals like Andrew Tate and Kanye West is only one part of the problem. Her unwavering commitment to certain ideologies has led her down an even more dangerous path.
What is it about Hitler? Why is he the most evil? Where did the idea of a concentration camp come from? The Bolsheviks. Ataturk was Danme. Sigmund Freud was a Kabbalist. Yale was established by Frankists. Israelis that were working at the World Trade Center who were forewarned of the attack.
This is especially evident in her recent flirtation with anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, where her loyalty to these ideas has seemed to cause her to overlook facts and compromise her Christian values. You see, Candace has built a reputation for calling out misinformation and challenging mainstream media narratives. However, in recent years, Candace has become a powerful media figure herself, reaching nearly 60 million views per month, which surpasses the primetime viewership of major news networks like MSNBC. So her influence carries a lot of responsibility, making it crucial for her to remain steadfast in the Christian value of not bearing false witness. If you've been following her content lately, you can't help but notice that she seems to trace every world problem back to the Jews in some way. But the only problem is, she consistently gets her facts wrong. So much so that even Nick Fuentes, who's known as the most prolific anti-Semite of our generation, he even had to call her out for how much she gets wrong.
And she's calling them the Bolshevists, and she says that, she gets all the details wrong about that. And then she says Stalin was Jewish. Stalin was not Jewish. And then she says Ataturk was secretly Jewish. Ataturk was not secretly Jewish. And then, but I didn't say anything. I said, whatever. I said, oh, well, not everyone's perfect. I said, yeah, it's not really a good look, but, she's learning. I said she's going to get on the ball eventually. So I didn't say anything. I held my tongue, even though that was not really a good look, okay? You can't really go hard like that and stake the reputation of you and everybody on this and then, get it wrong really severely over and over. She's talking about, all this stuff that, it just doesn't even really make any sense. And the difference between me and her, one, I'm a really good researcher. Two, I really know what the fuck I'm talking about because I've been doing this a long time.
Now, when someone with views as extreme as Nick Fuentes criticizes you for inaccuracies, that's a clear sign that something has gone seriously wrong.
Yeah. I don't know what Sis's motives are. I can't pin it on, she's simply looking for attention. She's doing this to be a shock jock, or maybe she has been radicalized in certain ideologies. Maybe she's far gone. Maybe she's, like my girl kind of pointed to, is to say she is so head over heels with her husband and trying to prove herself to him that, that she's just susceptible to any ideas that he presents and he is pushing, and she has to overcompensate, and she is dogmatic. It's like some of the same aspects that made her such a powerful messenger when it comes to breaking free from this democratic plantation ideology and this do for self mentality are some of the same attributes that, are essentially aiding to this, that staunchness, that hard-headedness, that, steadfastness about things. But this is a lesson for all, but this is definitely a lesson for me as somebody who is in the public eye more and more. And, as my so-called profile grows and there's more exposure and things of that nature, I do keep a level of consciousness to say, bro, don't lose your head. You got to stay grounded while still obviously being fully transparent. True. I can never see a world where I'm not, airy in my thinking. I'm open, I'm abstract, I'm whatever it is, but there always needs to be a grounding at the feet. Let your head be in the clouds sometimes, but let your feet be on the ground, basically. I got to make sure that I am 10 toes in whatever I am doing, because as soon as you buy into this hype of yourself, where you get into even, I got to maintain this thing, and even if you're dead ass wrong, if I'm wrong about everything I'm saying, folks, I will wake up tomorrow and say, you know what? I was dead ass wrong, even if it means the end of all of this. I did that before and I lost phone, and but I gained myself. I gained, the trust. I gained my own trust back. And then I was able to build the trust of those who then came in after. And maybe there's people who used to watch me in the beginning who can't watch me anymore because it's not the same content, but it's I'm sorry, but that wasn't me being fully transparent. It wasn't me showing up exactly how I am, as eccentric, as quirky. There was part of me who was trying to people please and maybe even subconsciously pander to individuals. in order to not get on people's bad side or whatever it was. But now I'm like, man, it is what it is. I serve the truth as it is. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to double back and let it be known. So, yeah, I hope the best for her, just like anybody else. But as far as her influencing me with these types of messages, it's hard for me to listen. Once I know you're a hypocrite, it's hard for me to hear you out until you reform your ways, but that's tough when you are so hard-headed. And again, I don't want to use narcissist because I don't know. I'm not classifying her. I know Andrew Tate, there's too much evidence of that, but with her, I don't know. I hope it's not that, but if it is, then it's going to be close to impossible to break free from that, that doggedness, because you're using all of this as a means of narcissistic supply. And that's a hell of a drug, y'all. It's a hell of a drug.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up. You know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises. You get to praising.